Hello and welcome to FX Addicts Weekly Market Analysis. This is Tim, the Currency Professor, and today is Friday, April 26, 2013. We had some action this week, and we probably will next week as well. Today we had a couple of reports to note. First off, the Bank of Japan met, and they really didn't do much at all. They didn't make any changes. So that is weighing a little heavy on everything against the Japanese yen. Japanese yen rallying just slightly off of that news. Also in the U.S., GDP came out for first quarter quite a bit lower than expectations. Expectations were 3.1%, and the number came out up 2.5%. So a little bit less. However, revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment came out at 76.4. That was above the expectations of 73.3 and much better than last month's 72.3. So if that's any indication, then second quarter GDP should be better. Now in first quarter GDP, two things hit. We had tax increases in the U.S. in January, and we also had the sequester by the automatic sequester that cut government spending pretty much across the board by almost 10%. So that was a pretty big hit to GDP. More than likely, we should see some very good numbers now for third quarter. Going on to next week. On Monday, we got a couple of things out of the U.S. personal spending and personal income, as well as pending home sales. 3 P's in a row, hard to say. They should move the markets a little bit if they are outside of expectations. Pending home sales, 1.2 is what's expected. If it comes out above 2%, that would move the markets. And personal spending, personal income, that would actually have to be up 1% in order to move the markets. That would move the dollar positive. If any of those were negative, probably wouldn't have too much of an impact unless they were very negative. On Tuesday, a lot of data coming out of Japan. Household spending, unemployment rate, industrial production, and retail sales. All those are expected to show positive numbers, so we'll have to wait and see. More than likely, it probably won't influence much of the yen trading, just because most of the yen trading these days is done off of any expectations from the Bank of Japan or the government. In Europe, Germany's retail sales are due out on Tuesday. Expectations are for a decline of 0.1%. That could move the markets if we see something much better than that, a positive number. That could move the markets pretty well. Also in Europe, unemployment rate on Tuesday, 12.1% expectations. Last month was 12%, and the prior month also was revised to 12%, so not looking good there. It keeps creeping up every month. Also on Tuesday in the U.S., Case-Shiller Price Index for home prices. Expectations are an increase of 9.1%. That's a pretty good move. That we haven't seen that now since before the recession, so things may be getting a little too overheated in the housing market. Also, Conference Board's consumer confidence expected to be over 60 in the U.S. That would be very good if we could see that. Wednesday is bank holiday in Europe. In the U.S., ADP non-farm payroll numbers. Expectations for 155,000, so that's kind of a precursor to Friday's report from the Department of Labor, or wherever we get that one from. Also on Wednesday, we have some PMI numbers out of the U.S. No big expectations there. All of them are expected to be above 50, which is optimistic. So looking for those to be above 50. If they come out below 50, that could be an issue. That could send the dollar down. Also on Wednesday is the Fomc meeting, so everyone will be looking to hear what the statement says there, and if they plan on doing anything else to stimulate the economy. Thursday, some PMI numbers out of Europe. No big expectations there, pretty much around 45 plus or minus. That is what they have been. They are below 50, so that's not a good sign. Next Friday, non-farm payrolls out of the U.S. unemployment rate. Expectations are for 146,000. Everyone's going to be looking for the revision also from last month, which is standing currently at 88,000. So if they revise that much higher, that would have an impact also. That is it on the economic front. Let's look at the numbers for today and this last week and what we think for next week. Well, Euro up about 17 pips here, just above 130. Very quiet week for the Euro. Looking like we're probably basing out here to make a move up. We failed to sell off, and so now the next move will be to rally a little bit. If we look at the weeklies, we can see here how we have this little kind of like a head and shoulders, but I don't want to call it a head and shoulders because it's not like we moved up. If we had moved up above these highs and made a head and shoulders, then yeah, I'd say all right. This could just be a move up, a correction, and then another move up. So we need to wait and see here, but we'd never tested these highs, and that makes me nervous. So there is a very good possibility we could rally up and test those highs. Now in the monthlies look pretty bad. We close out the month in 2 more trading sessions, so really looking for us to give some sign as to what we're going to do from here on out. Right now, if we were to close right here, it's not exactly a positive sign, but it's not negative either. So we had no reason to stop here where we did on this rally a couple months ago. So if we could get up there and test those highs and then fall, then there would be more of a substantial high there, but it's not, at least not at this point. So British pound against the dollar up the last 2 days, up a lot. GDP in the UK came out plus 0.3%. Expectations were for plus 0.1. So everybody jumped on the bandwagon here, and it's really rallied. Not really something I would consider a great deal of a move. 0.3% is not great, considering that for the last 5 quarters, 4 out of the last 5 quarters have been negative, and the only quarter that's been positive was because of the Olympics. So I'm not believing the rally here. I think this is now the 3rd leg up in this correction, and we're getting up here towards the upper end of this range, this channel, and we should top out up here and then probably fall back and go down and make some new lows here below 148. Right now up about 53 pips. So on the weeklies, nice strong week, very, very positive week. But if we go a little further out here, we can see on the monthlies, we need to really close this month out well above this this trend line that we have that we dipped below 2 months ago. That would have to put us up around 158, 159 area. Very, very unlikely we're going to rally 500 pips here in the next 2 sessions. You never know. It can do it. I've seen it happen. But we would need some extraordinary news out of the UK that was indeed going to bolster things here. U.S. dollar against the Swiss franc, down a little bit today, down about 22 pips. Very nice week. We've rallied up quite a bit. We built a nice base and rallied up here. Very nice U-shaped formation. So looking fairly positive here. The next move, we should go and take out these highs up here and rally up well above the 96 level. Now, we've been in the same trading range now for almost a year, just about a year. So it's been a fairly good consolidation. On a monthly basis, we need to really close this month out positive. So in the next 2 sessions, we need to rally quite a bit, and we need to do it with some pretty good strength. We need to close on a monthly basis well above this trend line, which is right now sitting at about 96.50. So we need to close up around 98, 100 area, somewhere up in there, to really start this thing going and end this 12-year, 13-year downtrend that we've been in. U.S. dollar against Japanese yen pulling back slightly because of that news out of the Bank of Japan, down about 105 pips, back down to just above 98. Looking fairly good. We got kind of a double top forming here. But if we look at things a little stronger here, we have more of this kind of a formation, a triangle formation, which we should eventually work our way out of to the upside on that. If we look at the weeklies, we can kind of see we're pulling back here for the week. We're going to close the week out negative, which is probably a good thing. We need a breather, maybe even next week pull back a little bit, and then we could jump up again. Now the monthly still looks very strong. We'll probably close out the month around here, maybe a little higher, but still looks very, very strong. Looks like we'll probably continue on here for some time, so looking very good. Euro Swiss had a very nice move this week. Last couple of days we've fallen back a little bit, down 11 points right now. Really looking like maybe we'll get one more day and that'll be about it, and then we're going to go up and make some new highs, jump up here, pushing the 124 envelope probably in the next week or two. Looks very good, especially longer term. We look at those weeklies. We've really turned the corner here. Again, a nice curved bottom, looking like we're going to rally pretty well here. The next move should take us well above the most recent highs and get us up to around the 127, 128 area. Technically, that's where we should be. Euro yen down also today, down about 125, just under the 128 level. Still looks fairly positive, although not as positive as the dollar against the yen, but nonetheless still fairly good. Again, we have same kind of situation here, a little bit less formed of a triangle, but that should mean we should move up higher out of that. So really looking for that to happen as well, longer term, of course. Now in the weeklies we do have a little bit of a turnaround here, so we could end up with a few weeks consolidation, pulling back, maybe get back down to that gap area, and then make another move up. Now the monthly still looks very strong. We're closing out the month here this next week fairly strong. Don't anticipate to sell off very much between now and then, and we could actually even work our way a little higher here Monday and Tuesday, so we could end up the month very nicely. Next month, really looking like it'll probably jump up again next month, get up into that 135 to 138 range. Looks very good though longer term. That is it for this week. If you're not a member of FX Addicts, please stop on by and join us. That we do offer a 7-day free trial, and if you are, by all means, feel free to step into the live chat room or the live trading room. Questions, comments, please email me, grab me on Skype, anything. I'm always available to help. Thank you. Have a good week.